You pull on your finger, then another finger, then cigarette. The water wall.
From the 600 ESPN El Paso River Oaks Properties Schoolyard Sports Studio, here's Steve Kaplowitz and Adrian Broadus.
Some classic David Bowie to get us into the show today. Appreciate that, Adrian, and good to have you back, folks. Hope you all had a great weekend. For those of you that are out there at the watermelon party with us, thank you for coming by. It's great to see everybody out there at Western Playland on really what was not as hot a day as you would normally expect. The clouds made that a little bit better for us. Didn't get nearly as much rain as everywhere else in El Paso that night. And whether it was eating, seed spitting, or any other watermelon festivities, it was good to have you out there. As we welcome you back to the program, Michael Plundo, Alberto Duetta, and Adrian Broadus with us here on a Monday afternoon, and a lot to cover over the course of the next 3 hours. Had a chance to go watch Chihuahuas yesterday and Friday. Man, I've probably been to more Chihuahuas games this year than the previous 11 years. Now, I usually go to about a dozen games a year, but this year especially, I feel like I've been to the park about 20 times or so, and twice in this last homestand. Enjoyed it. Man, Friday night drove me crazy. That was one of those games where I still can't believe the Chihuahuas didn't win when they had the opportunity to wrap things up in the ninth inning, and on a drop third strike, the ball was mishandled by the first baseman, and that allowed the floodgates to open, and the Chihuahuas ended up losing that game, and they also, fell short yesterday. But, hey, they're going to be back on the road. They got Salt Lake this week, and we'll have all the action for you beginning tomorrow with Tim Haggerty here on 600 ESPN El Paso. It's also Fight Week. Ring Wars is back. It'll be coming up Saturday night out at the Coliseum as we check in right now with our whole crew and get a chance to talk a little sports with you over the next 3 hours. Gentlemen, how are we doing? How is the weekend, Adrian?
Steve, the weekend was great. Started it off out at the ballpark, had a little watermelon party as well, and then spent it with family and friends. Steve, the interesting part is I was dreading Monday, but it's always great when you get to wake up on a Monday morning and you're surrounded by all the rain. I love the clouds this morning. I loved waking up to a definitely a wet El Paso on the west side, especially. Felt like the grass got a great dose of rain, and that's always a great way to start off the week. That's how I would say it here.
I'm with you. As soon as I saw the rain, I'm like, oh, good, I could turn the sprinklers off today and not have to worry about that. That's always a nice thing, too, and you're right. The rain, when you wake up and the ground is already wet, that is a good sign. That's a good sign. And today was one of the cooler mornings and early afternoons that we've had in a while until the sun started to come out.
It really felt like a fall day. Like it threw it, like a true throwback, Steve. I woke up like pretty early before everybody in the house. I was outside. I saw the wet conditions and I was thinking to myself, this feels like the fall because I could really turn on, my TV right now. I got the full dose of EA College Football 25 over the weekend. Now with the official release on Friday. I was honestly antsy to get home on Friday because I really wanted to play it, Steve. It lived up to the hype. I feel like I'm a little addicted to it. I'm already ready to go home right now and play it as well. I could see why Zay is already, like he told me over the weekend, he's already in 2030 for his dynasty mode right now. He's already played 7 seasons of UTEP football so far.
Has he really?
Yes.
7 seasons?
7 full seasons already.
Is Zay now the president of UTEP? Has he been elevated to the president of the school, or is he just running the program right now? What's he doing? Is he AD?
So he was apologizing to UTEP affiliates because he was saying how he has still not brought home a national championship. I bet UTEP's out of Conference USA at this point in his world of college football.
I think he's in the Big 12.
Really? He's in the Big 12?
I
think that's right, too. So if he's in the Big 12, he's trying to help UTEP win a national championship against those teams.
Good for him. Good weekend for you, Alberto, and you, Michael.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Caught some Bravos, was at the watermelon party. It was a great time at the watermelon party. Ate a lot of watermelon, which was phenomenal. Kept me refreshed.
Yeah, I saw you at the watermelon party. That was fun. And you also did Los Bravos too, huh?
Yeah, right after, and then came here.
Did you see Domingo on Saturday night?
I didn't. I was looking.
I mean, I figured he's probably there celebrating, screaming and yelling,
Yeah. I'm sure he went home very happy.
Do you think he was happier Saturday night or on his vacation in Alaska? I bet you happier Saturday night.
Yeah, for sure, because he was probably taunting a lot of people
I'm sure
on the
he
way
was.
out of the stadium.
Yeah, hopefully he's survived to talk about it. Michael, what about you? How was the weekend?
Kind of boring. I worked both days from 9 to 4 and then just kind of went home after just to chill with the family. Nothing exciting, just, relaxing.
Okay. Well, listen, we're happy you're all back. And by the way, speaking of College Football 25, which you said a moment ago, Adrian, my cousin Alexander, who lives out in Copenhagen, in Denmark, I should say. In Denmark, he already has the game, is playing it, and he's playing it as UTEP. He was very excited. He messaged me on Facebook, and the first thing I had a chance to see from him when he was playing the game was, "We ready?" ? The new quarterback stud in UTEP with a big exclamation point, and he's got the UTEP logo and all that on his computer, ready to play College Football 25. It even says "Rise Up 915 picks up," and then he followed that up with this, and it was great. He goes, "Didn't know UTEP was a one-star school."
Yeah, so if you're playing the college football road to glory mode where you're able to choose a team, and have that team, be your school of choice, UTEP's one of the lower tier teams in this game right now, which shouldn't be a surprise, right? It's so cool, Steve, that this game is going worldwide. And shout out to Alexander, friend of the program. He joined us for Radio Row. It was a lot of fun to see him out there. And now he's supporting the Miners out there in Denmark. That's excellent stuff.
It is. What people don't realize is a little more than 10 years ago, he spent like 3 months or 4 months in El Paso, and he was living with us. And basically, he plays a ton of video games and loves UTEP. He would go to all the football games, go to all the basketball games. He coined the term frickin' defense, which became very popular on this radio show over the course of the time he was there. People that have listened years ago remember that. That was his. And, yeah, he's all about UTEP. He really is. So hopefully he's like Zay. He plays UTEP in dynasty mode, and he starts to see if he can deliver a national championship to the Miners.
I actually underestimated how much this could grow everybody's brand across college football, really, Steve.
Yep.
And UTEP has, let's say you're somebody that doesn't have any affiliation, like Alexander has the affiliation or has at least been to UTEP games and stuff like that. But let's say you've never heard of UTEP before. People might select UTEP because they're a random team. They like the uniforms, they like the color combinations, they like the logo, whatever it might be, which again, it helps increase and grow the brand, and I think that's all good stuff right there. I was at UTEP basketball practice. I was talking to some of the players, and they are playing the game as well, even though,
Really?
obviously they're basketball players, but this is all on their games as well. Like, they're all over EA College Football 25 as well.
Good. Well, I figured they'd want to play in their own sport or their own school, even if it's a different sport, so that makes a lot of sense. I'm happy they're doing that, and good for them. And by the way, earlier today, Adrian and I sat down and we recorded our portion of the UTEP football season preview for Miner Talk, which will be available soon when that gets uploaded on demand wherever you listen to 600 ESPN El Paso. But this podcast is unique because what we recorded is content that will not air on the radio station. This is pretty much exclusively to our 600 ESPN El Paso channel.
Right. We do these from time to time, whether they're season previews, in-season check-ins, just a weekend roundup, an emergency podcast or on-demand show, which we've done in the past before. So, yeah, definitely. We had a lot of fun taping this show. We had a conversation with head coach Scotty Walden. Zay's going to be on it. Sal's going to be on it. You'll be on it, Steve, and we'll launch this later this week, this show. Again, it's the Miner Talk season preview show on demand, wherever you listen to Miner Talk, whenever you check out podcasts.
We're not going to give out our season, our records yet. I feel like we shouldn't talk about that until the show officially drops so you can hear how we got there. The thing is, what's interesting to me is Adrian and I are both same in terms of where we think the Miners will end up. We did have some different ways where they got there, but ultimately it's really kind of an interesting it's an interesting exercise when you listen to this, because not only do we go week by week, but then afterwards Adrian had the great idea to do the where this team could peak and the floor of where they could end up. And I feel like right now, we are pretty much on the same page completely where we think the Miners not only will end up, but where with the range of where they could go this whole season.
Yeah, like the highs, the lows, the ceiling and the floor. I kind of stole this from Michael Plundo over here, who's been doing ceiling and floor analysis for every NFL divisions. And, he's actually launching the AFC East one here today or early tomorrow. So, when I was thinking about this, well, what's the ceiling and floor for UTEP? I mean, what's the best case scenario, worst case scenario, and what are fans going to expect right now? I think fans right here love Coach Scotty Walden. They love the energy. They're really bought in on the season. However, how is that going to change as far as the first 4 games, which we talked about a lot on the podcast and on the show about how tough it is to gauge knowing those opponents for the first 4 games?
Is it bad if my message to Miner fans is come into this season with zero expectation, just look for the type of football that you will enjoy to watch week in, week out, but don't get so tied up into wins and losses, and just overall, hopefully, as long as the team improves from the start of the season to the end of the season and you're entertained every week they're out there, then that should really be the goal, rather than them hitting a certain number of wins and trying to get to a bowl game. Do you think most fans will tell me to go to hell, or do you feel like that is something that people will be able to buy into a little bit before the season starts?
I think half will buy into that. The other half will say, well, look at New Mexico State. They had a quicker fix. And then to that, I would just say, hey, look, that's what we're saying right here. Marginal improvement throughout the season. Don't completely check out after the first 4 games. This team has to probably work through some stuff throughout the season to actually get to where they want to be. Yeah. And their schedule softens up. It's not, it's really hard to start off and out of the gate. But then it gets a lot easier as it continues.
I just think the Aggies and Miners are apples and oranges, and that's just because the Aggies hired a guy a couple of years ago who's a veteran head coach who specializes in fixer-uppers. Like, that's how he's developed his entire career as a head coach, is he takes a program when they're down and he builds them up, and he's been doing that his whole career. So what he did in Cruces was no different than what he's done everywhere else, whereas UTEP hired a guy who's a young, up-and-coming head coach, still working his way up and hasn't really been able to prove a ton up until now, because he did great at Austin Peay, but he only got 4 games at Southern Miss. He's still kind of in an upward trajectory versus somebody who had already been there and is just known as the fix-it guy when it comes to college football teams that he's the head coach of.
Yeah, I think that with Scotty Walden, it's so different because he's just bringing this new energy, this new experience, whereas Jerry Kill was experienced coming into New Mexico State. So it's apples and oranges. It's a complete different approach to a rebuild, and that's what this is right here. UTEP is trying to get to a winning stage. They went 5 wins in 2022, 3 wins last year. What's going to happen this year? I don't think that you can necessarily quantify where this UTEP team could go, because there is a reality, or there is possibly an alternate reality where UTEP is bad this year, but you might see marginal improvement from top to bottom, and more motivation when it comes to recruitment.
100%. But I also feel like UTEP has never had a head coach like this in terms of energy level, what he brings in terms of that aspect of it. Young, up and coming. The entire assistant coaching staff is young. I mean, you could probably say this is the youngest staff since Bob Stoll arrived. But when Bob Stoll arrived at UTEP back in, I think it was like 85 or 86, he was about 40 at the time, whereas Scotty Walden's in his mid-30s. So he's even younger than Stoll was. But there's similarities to the coaching staff, meaning they were all young when Bob was here, and they're all young now with Scotty, and they're all kind of the same. Enthusiastic, energetic. I mean, we've never had a coaching staff that has tried to inject that into a team this early, like this group has. And only time will tell to see if it works and if they're able to get this team to play above their level.
I feel like with momentum and all that Coach Walden has delivered on up to this point, I think that they're going to be set up for a positive way either way. Like, you could take some positives from this season. This is the rebuild season. This is the transition year. Let's see what it looks like, right? I mean, there's Power 4 transfers all across the roster. There's a lot of new faces on this roster. They're only projected to have 3 starters back on offense, 4 on defense, so a lot of new with this UTEP football team.
17 past. Let's go to Charlie 1. Kick it off right. Here's our first traffic update of the afternoon.
Rough edges to go over. Central area, we have Copia and Alameda. That's a motorcycle accident. The EMS already transported. However, they're still investigating this one because it was a motorcycle accident in Copia and Alameda. Let's go to the west side, South Desert, and Starry Nights. We have a crash. I-10 East at Rester, stall car. That's on the shoulder, but shoulder activity there. On the east side, Loop 375 north of Vista del Sol. Have a lot of rocks and debris on the roadway there. Loop 375 north of Vista del Sol. Just caution in that area. And then also just keep in mind the gateway east at Reynolds, they have the left lane closed there. So that you're in single file right there. Leo's Restaurant, 7520 Rimcon, approaching 7-8 years in business. Famous Tortilla Soup, open Tuesday through Sunday from 11 to 8. Not tonight, but tomorrow. The popular Mr. T specials, fresh, delicious, affordable. Leo's Restaurant, 7520 Rimcon. I'm Charlie 1600, ESPN El Paso.
Weather, uncorruptible yet mysterious. Its movement determined by the cosmos and nature as indiscriminate as it is life-giving. Here at ABC7, Doppler Dave Spielman puts his decades of experience to work, observing Mother Nature, studying her science to anticipate her track and craft the most accurate forecast you can trust for your property, your family's safety, and your peace of mind. Doppler Dave Spielman, the Borderlands Chief Meteorologist.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how happy and healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan.
Their joints are more flexible, their teeth are cleaner, and their coats shinier. And why they seem more youthful even as they age.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. I've helped countless dogs thrive with one simple concept. Your dog needs a high-meat diet similar to what their ancestors ate in the wild.
Dr. Marty created Nature's Blend using 50 years of nutritional research and experience, helping dogs make incredible turnarounds. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of Cod Krispies. They're wild-caught, ultra-crunchy cod skin treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
600 ESPN El Paso.
22 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. 505-6009. That is our telephone number. If you want to get into the show, we'd love to hear from you. You can also get in on Twitter and X at 600 ESPN El Paso. Adrian went out to UTEP basketball practice today. Caught up with Otis Frazier III to hear what he has to say. So that's up right now on Adrian's Twitter and X profile. You can check that out and be good to go. And, hey, I'm excited. I mean, my plan is to get at least one, if not two, UTEP basketball practices in this week, and I'm looking forward to that. Really am. I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching this team in their summer workouts, summer practices. The pop-out practices have been great as well. You know, we talked to Otis about that right there, just as far as his thoughts on seeing the community out for some of these practices and stuff. Otis Frazier III, he's a pro's pro. He's been with this program for 3 years now. This is his senior season. He talked a lot about the Bahamas trip and what it's going to mean for this team.
Good. Check that out again. Maybe we'll even play that audio a little bit later in the show. We'd love to hear from you. And by the way, word trickled down today about UTEP and Louisville in basketball this year. If there's ever a time to play Louisville in basketball, it's this season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a Louisville team that was fractured, splintered over the past 2 seasons. A really bad group. They only won, I believe it was like 8 games and 4 games respectively over the last 2 years. So they were 12-52, a record that they had over 2 seasons. They hired Pat Kelsey. He went 261-122 at Charleston over the last 12 seasons. So the team that, has been into the NCAA tournament a lot of different times recently. Charleston, the University of Charleston, that head coach is now leading Louisville. But credit to UTEP for getting this done, man. This is impressive that they got this done.
Yeah, and I'm sure they probably got a pretty good chunk of change out of this as well, and maybe they could do what New Mexico State couldn't do last year. The Aggies hung in there with Louisville all game long, but just couldn't pull it out down the stretch. Maybe the Miners are able to get the big win this time around.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, hey, why not? I mean,
that's right.
This year, especially for this UTEP basketball team, I'm pretty bullish on this group. So, yeah, this is definitely the year to go out and play as many quality opponents you can to try to get some wins under your belt.
Let's go to the phones. Kick it off with Domingos. First up this afternoon. Domingo, you tell me, was Saturday night's win better for you than your vacation in Alaska? If you had to choose one of these two events, what was better, going to Alaska or watching your beloved Club America beat FC Juarez Saturday?
It's a hard question, but I'm just going to say both. But hey, America won on Saturday night, and today the Juarez losing. Oh, yeah, man.
All right, thank you very much for that. Alberto, can we are we able to translate that or probably not?
I think he's very excited about the win on Saturday. That's all that I picked up. What about you?
I all I heard was a bunch of yelling and screaming. That's all I know. I heard Domingo's voice going even a few octaves higher than normal, which is not something that is normal. Usually he's a little lower pitch and then raises his voice. I heard that he did things there that even Domingo doesn't usually do.
Yeah, he probably got out of control there. Imagine how he was at the stadium if that's how he is over the phone.
How could you have not seen him, given the circumstances and how he's just screaming and yelling on the phone right now? How did you miss that Saturday night?
I mean, I guess I wasn't looking out. I really wasn't looking out for all the commotion. I should have kept my eyes peeled for it.
No. Next time, right? Next time.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's get back to it as we continue here on Sports Talk. We'll move along to Cruz, who joins us next on the program. Hey, Cruz, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself, bud? Doing okay?
Yeah, doing fine. Thanks, Cruz.
Hey, I wanted to make a comment about the ladies' All-Star game. First of all, I'm happy about the outcome, but Caitlin Clark disappointed a lot of people. They wanted to see, myself included, we wanted to see her go in there and score, and all she did was give out assists. We wanted to see her rebound, and we wanted to see her play her A game, or something close to that. Play a good game, but all she did was, she just wasn't there. That's disappointing. I know a lot of little girls wanted to see her do well in that game.
Well, I don't know. I mean, once again, I'm not 100% sure if, scoring 30 points is you can't do what the fans always want. So they just got to play your own game. The fact that she wasn't looking to score, maybe looking to pass, I had no problem with that. Got to realize something. Everybody looks at Caitlin Clark as some kind of wonder kind. And you know what? Maybe she just wanted to go out there and distribute the basketball. How is that a bad thing? How is that disappointing that she didn't score?
10 assists, 0 turnovers, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a 10-assist game, how is that saying she disappointed?
Well, we wanted a better effort, just score some 27, but, maybe 10 or 11, and just mix it up a little bit, score a little here, a little there, maybe a couple of rebounds, and just put out a better effort, really.
Better effort. She had 10 assists and no turnovers. I mean, let me ask you this, because I didn't look at the box score. What was her shooting? Do we know what Caitlin shot for the game in that one? Have we seen the numbers?
No, I don't know.
I don't either. So that's why I'm kind of wondering what perhaps the numbers were like, and were they something that here? Let me see. Let me pull it up. I got the box score right now. 117-109. They beat Team USA in this game. Let me see. She was 2 of 9, 0 of 7 from 3-point land. So you know what? She scores 4 points. She obviously didn't have it. She didn't have it. Yeah. So instead of shooting the ball another 15 times, she passed and distributed the basketball. I'm fine with that. Got to realize something, okay? Sometimes the greats don't always bring their A game shooting-wise, and then you find something else you can do well. That's what a coach will always tell you. If you're not making shots, go rebound, go pass, go play defense, go do something else. And you know what? She had 10 assists and no turnovers. So, despite the fact that she couldn't shoot the basketball, that's still pretty good. Pretty good output.
Well, I didn't know she had shot that much, but we really were hoping she'd not light up the scoreboard or anything, but just score a little more, have a little bit of well-rounded game, And
yep. Unfortunately, the sad part is that sometimes you don't always get what you wish for. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean, let me tell you this, Cruz. I'm a Jets fan. All I wish is a chance to go see a Super Bowl in my lifetime. Haven't had that happen yet in the last 51 years. Hoping that happens eventually. But like I said, in sports, you don't always get what you wish for.
Yeah, you're right.
Appreciate you, Cruz. Thanks for the phone call. Yeah, and again, when you're 2 of 9 from the field, I'm happy she wasn't 2 of 20 from the field. Like, stop when you're not making your shot. She was 0 of 7 from 3-point land. So clearly she was off offensively, found other things to do, like distribute the basketball. She was a +4, which means that when she was on the floor for those 26 minutes, her team outscored Team USA by 4.
I usually really like Cruz's calls. This one I just feel like was the wrong narrative, man. Like we're drumming up the wrong narrative here. I feel like, why is she even talked about during these kind of things? Can we talk about a little bit about Angel Reese, who had 12 points, 11 rebounds? Again, she's having a fantastic rookie season. She went on that ridiculous double-double streak right now for her team in Chicago. And Angel Reese is like a legitimate contributor to a good team right now in the WNBA. Whereas Caitlin Clark, I feel like her team is a couple years away. It's not this season right here. She was, she's named a WNBA All-Star, which is a really cool thing, and she showed out. She had 10 assists. This is a good game.
I know it. All right, 31 past as we continue. Michael Plundo's back. He has a bottom-of-the-hour Sports Center update for us.
Michael Plundo here with your bottom of the hour ESPN Sports Center update. Let's get to it. It's that time of year, guys. The NFL training camp is rolling around, but a certain quarterback in Lambeau won't practice without a new deal. That's right. Jordan Love and the Packers may be nearing an agreement on a contract extension soon, but until it's done, the starting quarterback will not participate in practice or any games this preseason. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said Monday, shortly before the team's first practice of training camp, that Love's representatives informed him Saturday night of their plans before a deal gets done. We completely understand where he's coming from, the Packers general manager said. Love did report for training camp on time and took part in meetings and other training camp activities, except for practice. practice. Previously, Love took part in the entire offseason program and the team's mandatory minicamp in June to fulfill the requirements for his $500,000 workout bonus. The situation to monitor going forward. Let's get out to some NBA news. This out in Dallas as Spencer Dinwiddie will be back with the Mavericks on a one-year deal. That's right. Guard Spencer Dinwiddie has agreed to a one-year deal with the Dallas Mavericks. Dinwiddie, 31, will return to Dallas where he played a key role as the sixth man on the Mavs 2022 Western Conference Finals team. Dinwiddie averaged 17 points, 4 assists, and 76 games with the Mavs. He arrived in Dallas as part of the Kristaps Porzingis deal at the 2022 trade deadline and was sent to Brooklyn a year later as a part of the Kyrie Irving trade. Dinwiddie considered signing with the Mavs after receiving a buyout in February, but instead opted to go to the Lakers. That's a look at your ESPN SportsCenter update. I'm Michael Plundo.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. I was checking Twitter and X, and I saw this from Noah Guerrero. Shout out to Blanca Burns, Montwood grad, on being selected as a basketball official at the Paris Olympic Games. Andy Morgan had a great story on her a few years back. And it's a really cool thing because Burns is someone who was born in Mexico. I think she was born in Torreon. Then she moved with her family to El Paso, then went on to Oklahoma, and she has been officiating in some NBA games over the years and WNBA, and now she gets an opportunity to do the Paris Olympics. This is a very cool story and someone that, again, with all the Olympic talk, I'm happy that Noah mentioned Burns and what she's been able to accomplish as an official.
Yeah, there's some good ones for the Olympics. This is always a great time to have a local connection to it, people who have El Paso ties, UTEP ties, whatever it might be. So a great story right here and definitely one that deserves recognition. Big shout out to Blanca Burns.
Yeah, it's neat. And again, maybe someone we can work on trying to get on the program. And, you think about this. We see some female NBA officials from time to time. They're not regulars, but they do get a chance to work games. But what I didn't realize is 42% of G League referees are women. How about that?
That's excellent. Allowing more access to just everybody involved. This is a male-dominated sport right here. There's obviously the WNBA, but there definitely is a lot of opportunities growing across the NBA right now for women in sports, in the game itself, whether they're in the front office, in the coaching staff, or like we're just talking about in the officiating staffs.
Yeah, it's a cool story. It really is. In fact, Andy did profile Blanca and mentioned her as Noah mentioned a couple of years ago. Let's listen into that story from Andy Morgan and talking about the career of El Pasoan Blanca Burns, who's gone on to do some great things in the sport.
Now to a story you'll only see on 9. Every time you watch a basketball game at the Don Haskins Center or even the Pan American Center, you see 2 teams on the floor. But I'm here to tell you there's actually 3 teams, the third being the officials. And there's a native El Pasoan who is working her way through the officiating rinks and breaking down barriers in the process. Blanca Burns has always had a love for basketball.
I played basketball my whole life. I played at Montwood as well.
From Montwood in El Paso to collegiately in Oklahoma, which is where her basketball career took a turn.
Like any other college student, I was struggling a little bit financially, and my coach is like, they're looking for referees at the YMCA, if any. He told all my teammates and I that if anyone's interested in trying it out, it'd probably be a good opportunity. It's not bad money. And so, yeah, I went for it, and I started doing 3-year-olds at the YMCA.
8 years later, Burns is officiating men's college basketball at the Division I level, and her biggest challenge is one you might expect.
Being one of the only females, just because, the reality is that, some people, when they look at a female in a men's game, they're like, oh, I'm not sure if she can handle it, so really just working hard to do a good job to make sure that I prove all those people who are doubting females, prove them wrong.
By York, took it right out of Burns has done exactly that. She officiates regularly in the NBA G League. She's already made her debut in the NBA, the Big 12 Conference, the Missouri Valley Conference, and Conference USA, which led her back to El Paso for the first time in 20 years last month when UTEP hosted Florida International.
It kind of just brought everything full circle, and went back, I had moments where I just was thinking about my life in the past, and I'm like, I literally never thought that I would be here.
So many young women in this profession are trying to get to the point where Blanca Burns is, looking up to her, no doubt. Her goal now, represent Mexico. She was born in Mexico, moved to El Paso when she was 5, represent Mexico in the Olympics as an official.
Wow, there you go. So apparently, there it is. Cross that off the list, and now she gets an opportunity to do that in Paris. Nice job by Andy. 2 years ago, that story came out, and he kind of foreshadowed what just happened here today.
What a representation for the city of El Paso, for somebody who's been a part of all this, and for the country of Mexico. I mean, for her to represent the country. I love it, Steve. It's just an amazing local story right there. And the fact that she's been officiating across the G League throughout these past couple seasons has just prepared her for this big event at the highest level that there is, in the sport.
38 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk, 505-6009. Also, 600 ESPN El Paso on Twitter and X, and through our app where you can listen and chat with us in real time. We got so much more to talk about. Jordan Love says he won't be practicing until he gets a new deal. More drama for the Packers, and it's not involving number 12. We'll talk about it next. Sports Talk continues, 600 ESPN El Paso.
The El Paso County Sports Park is a state-of-the-art regional sports facility near Montwood High in Far East El Paso. The sports park includes 10 lighted fields, batting cages, pro shop, concessions, and a restaurant upstairs. Visit epcountyparks.com for info on youth leagues in the fall at the sports park.
River Oaks Properties was founded by local businessman Jerry Rubin. Their locations include the rapidly growing, highly trafficked Zaragoza Road and East Lake Boulevard in Far East El Paso. In addition, River Oaks has recently completed Westtown Marketplace, El Paso's newest outdoor shopping destination. River Oaks helps create local jobs through retailers. Want to start a business or you need the best location? River Oaks Properties has the best locations in El Paso. For more information, visit roplpaso.com.
You, your family, the business where you work, the business you own, all are invited to sponsor Noche de Estrellas, Thursday, September 19th at the Plaza Hotel. 100% of the proceeds from this event will go to the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, Noche de Estrellas, because no one in El Paso should go hungry. Learn more by calling Sonia Sanders at the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, 915-224-1306. That's 915-224-1306.
In the El Paso Metroplex, a few rough edges that we have right now. First of all, on the east side, Loop 375 north of east of the soda, we have some rocks, debris on the roadway. Let's go to the west side. I-10 East and Rester stall car on the shoulder activity there. South Desert and Starry Nights, we have a crash. PD will be there. Central area motorcycle accident at Copia and Alameda, caution in that area. And Leo's Restaurant, 7520 Rimcon, approaching 78 years in business. Famous Tortilla Soup, open Tuesday through Sunday from 11 to 8, not today, tomorrow. Don't forget the Delicious Papias, Leo's Restaurant, 7520 Rimcon, Charlie 1600, ESPN El Paso.
This is Steve Kaplowitz, and 600 ESPN El Paso has a great way for you to enjoy Sports Talk on demand. Download our show by subscribing to the free 600 ESPN El Paso podcasts on your Apple or Google Play device. After that, you can enjoy the best of Sports Talk each day, delivered commercial-free to your phone or tablet. That's right, all the best calls, interviews, and insight with the touch of a button, so you never miss a moment. 600 ESPN El Paso podcasts.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyond's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API-SP test limits.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you.
Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Hi, I'm Andy Meadows, Chief Editor of Radio Update. What is Radio Update, you ask? It's an online publication specific to radio that shares innovative ideas about how to move our industry forward. Check us out if you're in radio or interested in getting into an industry that's over 100 years old and stronger than ever. Broadcast radio is now the largest mass medium in the United States. If you're like me and you have a passion for radio, or you want to put the power of radio to work for your brand, log on to radioupdate.com.
El Paso, mornings just got even better. Join us for Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle, weekdays from 4 to 8 on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Fours across the board as we continue here on Sports Talk. 505-6009, our telephone number. That's 505-6009, line ringing in right now. Would love to get your thoughts on everything going on in the world of sports. This from Domingo, who called in yelling and screaming a little while ago. He said a lot of things, actually. He's been on the app for a good chunk of the show today. He said, it's odiame más, meaning hate me more because America is better. Mm-hmm. And then said, still, I'm very happy winning Saturday night. 15,000 fans, most of them America fans, maybe in the range of 5,000 to 8,000. You should check. Have the north section where the visiting fans is at. And he's apparently in the north section. That's where he's going to be found anytime there's an FC Juarez America game at Benito Juarez Stadium.
The north section?
Yes.
Is that what he said? Okay.
Yes.
Now I know where to go to look for him.
He also said it's official. Javier Aguirre back coaching El for the third time.
Yeah, El Tri. Yep. They're going to be headed by Javier Aguirre. We talked about his name when the exit of the last coach happened, so it's not really surprising. A lot of people are angry that they're going back to something that they've already done twice.
You're not, are you?
I like him. I like the orientation this takes the team in. I think they just need a team needs a firm hand, right? That's what I think. And unfortunately for the whole league side, the whole front office side of the organization, that's kind of rotten to a core, and you're not going to address that with the head coach, but for the team in and of itself and how they're going to go out and how they're going to play and how they're going to play these tournaments, I feel a lot better.
All right. Well, all I can tell you is, you know what? That's probably it. El Tri needs something right now, maybe a little spark, and maybe this will happen. Maybe third time's a charm.
Yeah, a little kick in the butt. And you know what? A lot needs to be said about the other two attempts that Javier Aguirre had. You know, you look back at the one in 2010, and he took the country to a World Cup. They opened up the World Cup, the inaugural game. And so one thing that people like to forget about that team is he took a lot of young players, and he started a lot of young players. Giovanni Los Santos, Carlos Vela, Chicharito, they were young. They were in their early 20s. So if we can replicate that now and kind of bring that same youth back to the team, I think it'll be in a better step.
Okay, if you want to talk about that, 505-6009, our telephone number. Meanwhile, I mentioned this before the break, the Packers and Jordan Love may be nearing an agreement on a contract extension, but until it's done, Love will not participate or practice in any games this preseason. None. So there you go. Brian Gutekunst, the general manager of the Packers, said today, shortly before the team's first practice of training camp, that Love's reps informed him Saturday night of their plans before a deal gets done. So, you think about what Green Bay has to deal with. Sean Clifford will handle the first snaps. In the meantime, they've got a rookie, Michael Pratt. But, they got to lock down Jordan Love, who, by the way, I'll say this, really, exceeded expectations for me. 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,159 yards for Jordan Love. He had a terrific season, and a lot of people were worried that he would just not cut it, and quite the opposite. So if you're Green Bay, take care of him. He's young. He's going to be there for a while. And now, reward him for the kind of season he had.
Absolutely, and I was talking about this contract talk in my NFC North article, and I'm really curious to see what Jordan Love's market value will look like here. I mean, you got guys like Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence who just got paid over $50 million annually last month, so I think Jordan Love will warrant about that, because if you look at Jordan Love compared to those two quarterbacks, I think Jordan Love is, honestly, I think Jordan Love had a better season than Trevor Lawrence last year. The Packers were 3-6. They were out of the playoffs earlier in the year, and they absolutely turned it around at the late stretch of the season, helping the team get into the playoffs, and they became the first 7-seed team in NFL history since the playoffs got expanded to win a playoff game. So Jordan Love, like you said, more than exceeded expectations in Green Bay, and I think he has a very bright future with that team.
I thought really Trevor Lawrence's contract extension was a joke, considering he had 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and I mean, they're banking a lot. That's a lot of money to give to somebody who really has not proved himself yet. Jordan Love did last season. He had a very good year. It wouldn't surprise me if he's somewhere in that $40 to $50 million contract extension range. Maybe he gets a 4-year extension for, between 165, 170 and 200 million when it's all said and done.
Justifying the price tag for me isn't hard because we have all the precedent right here. We have the Trevor Lawrence deal, we have the Goff deal, like all these quarterbacks who you can make arguments whether or not they're top 15 quarterbacks in the league. They just get paid by their front office and all that. Just to play a bit of devil's advocate, if the Green Bay Packers look at their roster right now and they say this, look, we're not built to win now. When you sign somebody to a deal like this, you're trying to win in a window. We're not really built to win now if Green Bay's looking at it. And they might say, hey, look, class of 2025 NFL draft of quarterbacks, class of 2026 could be the two best drafts you see here in the coming years. And every year, teams take shots at these guys. Why not write it out with the franchise tag, similar to what the Cowboys are doing? Maybe draft a quarterback, maybe not necessarily in the top 10 or top 15, but draft a quarterback in the first round and then start the process over again with trying to reset the timetable until you have the roster that you want to win now, and win a Super Bowl in a window that is actually feasible.
To me, though, you didn't replace Aaron Jones with Josh Jacobs to not compete to win a division title. I mean, that move signified, they went younger, and that move signified to me that the Packers did not want to miss a beat at that spot, and they're bringing everybody else back. Dobbs, Reed, Musgrave. Musgrave. I'm sorry. They're all young, but they've all been, guys that can make plays for them. So, and you want to know something else? I like Detroit, right? But it's tough to put Detroit in the same breath as Philadelphia and San Francisco right now, because you almost say to yourself, all right, They're very young and talented, but are they truly elite? Maybe Green Bay feels the same way, and they feel like, you know what? If we give Jordan Love a veteran a running back like Jacobs, so that way you've got that kind of production. You've got your receivers. They're all another year under their belt. They're all young, but they're all on the way up. Maybe they give Detroit a run for their money this year.
I would just say this. Even if you wanted to couple Detroit, San Francisco, and Philadelphia, that's only 3 contenders, Steve. The drop-off beyond that, to your point, which, they're going to pay Jordan Love. It's just a matter of when this gets done, in my opinion. They're going to pay him because everybody else does, and they're going to pay him because Daniel Jones is a mediocre to bad quarterback, but he still got paid with the Giants. So quarterbacks just get paid in this league. It's kind of how the process goes, and if you're Green Bay right now, you're looking at the NFC, and you're just saying, hey, beyond the Eagles, beyond the 49ers, and beyond the Lions, there's not really anybody out there. So you're really going to rely on those teams to be healthy a full season again and try to make a Super Bowl run? No. If you're the Packers, you're right. Window of opportunities right here with this team that you have.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's a good story to keep an eye on. Michael, what's your take? What do you think will happen when it's all said and done?
I think the Packers are going to extend Jordan Love when it's all said and done. Sitting him behind Aaron Rodgers for a couple years did him favors, as we saw this past season, and Green Bay would be foolish to let him walk.
Top 10 in passing touchdowns, passing yards, and touchdown interception ratio. He was second behind Prescott in touchdowns. He was 7th in passing yards, 7th in touchdown to interception ratio. And by the way, took a 2-5 team to a 9-8 mark, which means they went 7-3 the rest of the season. And I guess that's what you think about. And they ended up beating the Cowboys, where he threw 3 touchdown passes and no picks. And you think about it, they were right there with the 49ers, had a great opportunity to win that game.
They had a lot of things trend upward toward the end of last season, if you're looking at Green Bay. And beating the Cowboys in that playoff environment the way that they did was just one of those ways to solidify it. They were, 1 quarter away from beating the 49ers and legitimately having a shot to go to the Super Bowl? That's crazy.
But you know what's funny? I don't feel the same way about the Packers as I did the last 6-7 years. I don't. I feel like now that Aaron is away and he's in Minnesota, I'm like, all right, Green Bay's dead to me again, because I was never really a huge Packer fan to begin with. I was like, all right, they're fine, great tradition. They won the first 2 Super Bowls, but it's Aaron Jones's team, so I got excited about Green Bay. I legitimately rooted for the Packers. Now I'm rooting for the Vikings. I'm like, okay, wherever Aaron Jones is, I'm a fan.
Yeah, actually, I think, and this is actually not that big of a hot take, Jordan Love is the least exciting team of that division. You have Caleb Williams, number 1 pick. You got Goff trying to run it back, go to the Super Bowl. And you've got a new quarterback in J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings. He is the least exciting quarterback in that division.
At the same time, he could be boring, but maybe he gets better results than everybody else in that division.
True. Fair enough. That's very possible.
Interesting. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. Stay with us. Plenty more sports talk coming up. Members of El Paso Locomotive FC are going to be dropping by the studio in our 6 o'clock hour. We'll do that as well and get you into more of the conversation right here. 600 ESPN El Paso.
From the 600 ESPN El Paso River Oaks Properties Schoolyard Sports Studio, here's Steve Kaplowitz and Adrian Broad.
That's right. You can add to that list Alberto Urueta, Michael Plundo, and together we deliver Sports Talk back to you right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. 505-6009, our telephone number to get into the show. 505-6009. As we continue, hey, the El Paso the Plaza Classic Film Festival is going on right now as we speak. And love this. Sunday, 7 o'clock. How about Bull Durham going to be shown? One of the all-time great movies. We've got tickets to give out to Bull Durham. It's on my all-time list of sports movies. It really is. One of my favorite baseball movies. Probably the most realistic baseball movie that's ever been made, which told the story of Nuke LaLoosh and Crash Davis and the Durham Bulls, which back in the late 80s was the most accurate representation of what minor league baseball was like, especially at that A-ball level. And it was great because early in that movie, there's a scene when Crash arrives to the Durham Bulls for the first time and sees his new manager and pitching coach and tells his pitching coach that earlier in his career, he took him deep in El Paso in a baseball game. It was one of those great random El Paso references, which I loved. And we've got Bull Durham showing this Sunday, 7 o'clock, and we're going to be giving away tickets.
I love this one. This is on my Mount Rushmore as far as baseball movies, Steve. When I was doing my classic movie reviews, I think this one was a 4 out of 5 bananas or maybe a golden banana 5 out of 5.
Oh, that's good. That is really, really good. So that's going to be given away. I noticed we have also at Tidal Wave Auto Spa $30 car wash to give away, but I just looked at the expiration date, and it's August the 1st.
You got to get it quick.
Man, this is one of those prizes where when you win, you better redeem it within days of winning it, or it's going to be gone.
Good thing it's been rainy, Steve. It's been windy, so maybe we can gift car wash to somebody who really needs it.
That would be good. I just took mine through today. Once I saw that rain was not going to be in the forecast as much this week, I'm like, all right, it's safe. Safe to run it through.
Unlimited. There you go.
This is a $30 car wash, though. It's the Graph X4 wash from Tidal Wave Auto Spa at 2080 North Zaragoza Road in East El Paso that does expire next week on the 1st of August. So we will be giving that away during the show today. Listen in on how you can win your Bull Durham tickets and the car wash here on Sports Talk between now and 7 o'clock. It'll probably be Bull Durham trivia. Adrian, I think I am going to come up with a good one today to try and get somebody into the big movie this Sunday at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it sounds great, Steve. We got to give it to somebody who's a big fan of Bull Durham. And as far as the car wash goes, maybe an Eastsider that we get award this one, too.
Oh, that'd be great. Alberto and Michael, have either of you seen Bull Durham before?
I have not seen this. I have to go out. and watch it when it plays. When is it playing?
Sunday at 7 o'clock.
This Sunday?
Yes,
okay,
this
I'm
Sunday.
going to be there watching Bull Durham.
It stars Kevin Costner.
I looked it up and I saw.
Tim Robbins, Susan Sarandon. It's a great cast, actually. Really, really good cast. Michael, have you ever seen Bull Durham?
I have not, but I've had people that have told me about it, and they said really good things about it.
Well, don't worry. You're not alone, because I don't think Adrian had seen Bull Durham prior to the summer of movies for you, where,
Correct.
Was it 2 or 3 years ago you went and you watched God knows how many movies and just reviewed all those?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. Shout out Alamo Drafthouse.
Man, that was great, because you probably watched 100 movies during the course of the summer and then rated all of them here on the show. Do you remember, do you still have your list? And if you have your list,
Yes.
Do you remember how many bananas you gave Bull Durham when you were giving that particular review on Sports Talk?
Okay, I've got the bananas, and I've got the list on my phone. So, just by the way, just in case you needed to know this one, Steve, 8 Men Out had 8 bananas. So, just so you know.
Thank you. 8 Men Out, a classic. I like
I'm trying to find Bull Durham here, and that's what I'm doing right here. Here it is. Bull Durham, 9 out of 10 bananas. So it was a hot one for me.
Just missed the Golden Banana Award, so you were that bullish on Bull Durham.
That's exactly right. There were some good ones, though. There were some good ones that had golden bananas all across the board.
Oh, man. I miss
Raging Bull.
You know, can you do me a favor? One of these days, can you just put a post up on 600 listing all your movies and bananas? Just because right now, what happens if you ever accidentally delete your notes and then all of a sudden
It's a good point.
we lose out on a whole summer's worth of movie reviews from you?
Yeah, I would never know that I watched Weird Science. I probably, if somebody, this actually happens, Steve. Sometimes people will say, oh, have you ever seen this? And I say, no. They describe the movie, and I'm like, wait a second, I did see this. And then I look back on my notes, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. Here's my rating of it.
I know. Well, you were busy that whole summer 2 years ago. You were watching, sometimes you would watch 2 movies at night just to try to get all these reviews in.
I forgot about a lot of these. Hudson Hawk, Dirty Harry's, Say Anything, Urban Cowboy, Born on the 4th of July. Wow. Yeah, I forgot about a lot of these.
Okay, here's what I want to do as a quick exercise, okay? I want you to go through the movie list. Now, while you go through the movie list, Michael and Alberto, I want you to listen in, and I want you to note how many of the movies that Adrian mentions you have seen. Alberto, there's a piece of paper. All you need to do is you don't even need to mention the movies if you want, or you can. Or you could just throw a little 1, 2, 3 little hash marks. But all right, go through the movies of your summer 2 years ago, and let's see how many of these Alberto and Michael have seen. All
Okay,
right?
let's do it. Okay, so we're starting off with Blue Velvet, then it's Casino, then it's Blade Runner, Firestarter, Cutting Edge, The Negotiator, The Deer Hunter, Lethal Weapon 2, Talk Radio, Midnight Run, With Honors, St. Elmo's Fire, Porky's, Any Given Sunday, 61, 1941, History of the World, Steel Magnolias, Untouchables, Say Anything, Creep Show 2, Flashdance, Fatal Attraction, Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, Car Wash. Let's keep it going. I did not see The Deadpool. I did not see The Dirty Dozen. I did not see Unforgiven. I saw Boogie Nights. I saw Heat. By the way, Heat 2 is coming out, Steve.
I know.
That just came out this past weekend.
They're making a sequel.
Thank goodness, man. I needed a second one. Hudson Hawk, The Last Mohicans, Dirty Harry's, Devil's Advocate, The Color of Money, Dune, not the recent Dune, Toy Soldiers, Bachelor Party, Wall Street, Urban Cowboy, Say Anything, Born on the 4th of July, 48, Youngblood, Mask, Deliverance, Thank God It's Friday, Short Circuit, wow, that's a blast from the past, Slapshot, Golden Banana right there, Full Metal Jacket, Donnie Brasco, also a Golden Banana, The Outsiders, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, Everybody's All American, Johnny Be Good, 8 Men Out, North Dallas 40, Secret of My Success, Bang the Drum Slowly, All the Right Moves, Johnny Dangerously, Saturday Night Fever, The Best of Times, A Fish in the Bathtub, Misery, which was a Golden Banana, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Driving Miss Daisy, The Lost Boys, White Men Can't Jump, Taxi Driver, Warriors, I got this right. Raging Bull, Predator, Midnight Madness, Tin Cup, The Mystery of Alaska, Maggie, Pumping Iron. I did not watch Ice Station Zebra. Gator Richard. Conan the Barbarian, Eraser, Platoon, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Weird Science, Officer and a Gentleman, Evil Dead, I already said that, Youngblood, Final Countdown, Twins, The Program, Army of Darkness, did not say that one, Golden Banana right there, True Lies, Necessary Roughness, Commando, Clockwork Orange, Mighty Ducks, Bill and Ted's Awesome Adventure, and Point Break, which was my first one.
Wow, what a list. What a summer. What a summer.
What a summer.
All right, let me start first with Michael Plundo. Of that list, Michael, how many of those movies have you seen?
3 total movies, and those movies are Devil's Advocate, Dune, and Mighty Ducks out of the list that Adrian mentioned.
What a random group. So you've never seen Rocky 4, Rocky 5?
I have not.
Wow. Okay, so 3 movies out of that entire list Michael Plundo has seen. Alberto, what about you? Of that list you just heard, how many movies have you seen?
I've seen 9. I'm a little higher up. I've seen a decent amount.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he listed like 100, but I have 9.
He did. You had 9 of that. 9. So still not great.
Which ones?
Do you remember any of those that you heard?
I've seen Raging Bull. I've seen Casino. I've seen Heat. I've seen the Rocky movies that you mentioned.
Seen Slapshot?
No.
Got Golden Banana.
That's
man.
today.
Golden
That's today.
Banana.
That's
Any
after
Given
the
Sunday.
show.
Any Given Sunday?
Wait, is Slapshot the one where it's about a guy that's like the enforcer?
No, the
Or
Hanson
that's
brothers. The
enforcer?
3 of them.
Okay.
The Hanson brothers.
No, then I don't know.
They have glasses and they're kind of goofy looking, and they just beat up on people. You know, it's with Paul Newman. You never seen
I
Slapshot?
need to watch Slapshot.
Okay.
Netflix, Hulu, Sling TV, the Roku channel, if you got the Roku channel. So very accessible.
There's a lot of. Have you seen 8 Men Out? About the Chicago Black Sox 1919 scandal.
No, I don't think
All-star cast.
I need to watch that.
All right. Hey, was Major League on your list? Did you see that one or no?
I'd seen Major League
before the movies.
That's right.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. So 3 for Michael, 9 for you. But was Bull Durham? That was on your summer list. You
That
said
was there.
9 out of 10, and the 2 of you have not seen Bull Durham, so now you have the chance to do that. That was the whole point of this movie exercise. And by the way, Adrian, I can't believe there were actually some movies on that list that you had not seen that were recommended.
That's correct. Yes.
Very, very few of them. A handful of movies, but there were a couple on that list.
There were a couple on that list, indeed, including getting excited about Heat 2. So this made me realize that there were a lot of good movies on that list. I just recently rewatched Casino as well. What a great movie. Yeah, loved it all. Love that exercise in doing that.
Okay. Good job. Appreciate you reeling those off. That was a long, long list of movies, but it was a good summer. Very good summer. And I just remember the classic was when I said, hey, Adrian, can we keep this going? You're like, no, this is it. It is ending. Then it was your fiance or it wasn't even your wife. You're like, I just can't keep doing this because, there's just no way we can keep watching movies like this at this rate.
So at the beginning, it was easy, right? Because you're just watching movies in bed and just, or whatever, like as you're winding the night down. It was a lot of fun, like just to catch little things, write a little notes here and there. Mm-hmm. And then it got hard. Like I'm watching movies, in the middle of things or, off to the side and stuff like that. And it's not because, I was tasked to do it. I legitimately wanted to watch these movies. I would just find myself finishing the movie elsewhere. It's easy to just watch a 30-minute TV show to catch up, but like a full 2-hour plus movie. And nowadays, Steve, I feel like they make movies a lot shorter. Like a lot of these movies were like 3.5 hours or so or whatever. And it was kind of funny to watch some of those.
Some of those movies are really, really long. That's exactly right. Alberto, if you had to pick, obviously, most will say movie theater is where you want to see a movie. If you're going to watch it, you want to be in a nice, comfortable chair with some popcorn, a beverage, and just really enjoy it. But if you're in your place, okay, do you prefer to watch it in the living room? Do you prefer to watch it in the bedroom? Do you prefer to watch it like on a phone or tablet? What is your viewing preference when it comes to movies?
Okay.
I didn't realize this was this cut. I could tell this sounds like this. There's going to be a lot of thought in this answer. I like that.
First off, I'm not a huge movie guy.
No?
No, and when I go to the theater, I fall asleep because it's dark. And the seats are now so comfortable, it's pretty much like a bed. So I'm almost falling asleep. And it's hard for me to pay attention and not talk for that long.
So you're telling me this. So based on what you just said,
yes,
there is absolutely no way on earth you're going on a date to a movie with somebody that you're trying to impress, because the chances of you falling asleep
are
very, very high.
Yes.
And have you been on a date before at a movie? And if so, has your date had to wake you up?
I'm trying to think if I've fallen asleep on a date. I don't think I have. Maybe for sure not on the first date. So.
When you get comfortable with it, then you'll start dozing off.
Third or fourth, I might be snoozing in there. But
got it.
So that's why I don't watch many movies. I did go to the movie theater literally yesterday to watch the Long Legs, I think it's called. And
did you stay awake?
Yeah, because it's a scary movie.
Great movie.
It was good. It was a good movie.
Adrian, you've seen it too.
Long Big fan. I saw it the night it opened. I'm a big horror fan.
It's a good movie.
Long Legs.
Long Legs. I'm a really big mystery guy. So, like, for example, when I work overnight, I watch like Forensic Files or Dateline. That's what I like. So
got it.
So this has had it both. Okay, and then on to the movie thing is, okay, at home, I live in a studio. So you're listing off all these things that, like, I don't have. Like, it's like a living room. It's like my bed is my living room, my where I like to eat my meals and watch, and like my desk. And I have a desk, but I like to work on my bed sometimes. And then also my TV stopped working recently. I have to go get it fixed. So I don't even have a TV right now. I'm watching everything on my computer.
So you have a broken television.
I'm fixing it.
You don't
I
have
think we could help you there.
You don't have a living room, and you don't
it's
have.
Like my studio is just like a studio. Like, it's not necessarily broken into.
So
like,
you're telling me
room.
that when I walk into your house, your place, you essentially have your bed in your living room.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll show you a video.
All right, that's cool. Do that.
I have
all right, so there's your answer. So when you have a working television, it's going to be in your
public area.
Right, your public. That's a good way to describe it. A public area. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Michael, what about you?
I'm a big movie guy, especially horror films. Like Adrian said, I'm a big fan of those. Except Annabelle, that was not fun to see, and that was probably the one movie I will never see again. But I really just like to go to theaters. I'd rather go there to watch a movie than watch it at home, unless it's a classic that my family has on. But I'm a theater type of guy.
Okay, but if you're going to watch it at home, what room are you watching it? Are you watching it in bed? Are you watching it in the living room? Where are you watching it?
Probably the living room, just because, common area, and my room is very tiny, so I'd rather be in the living room.
Sounds great. And Adrian, for you, are you like me? You don't care if you just, as long as you're comfortable, that's all that matters.
Yeah, just that's all that matters. I'll say this though, I'm a little worried about the next generation. Not to say that these guys are Gen Zers right here, but TikTok culture and swipe culture has made attention spans very small. You know, it's not like I have to ask UTEP Zay, when's the last full length movie he's watched? He's the true test for this Gen Z project, or Lane Frank for that matter.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they just don't watch. Maybe they just don't watch movies at all,
or just from time to time, but not as often as we do here.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, 19 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. Let's come back to it right after Charlie 1. He's got a traffic update for us. Here on Sports Talk. Hey, good news, folks. If you were not able to take advantage on Friday of our dining deals with Hacienda de Mesilla, we still have some opportunities for you now at 600ESPNElPaso.com and the must-read bar. Remember, $50 to Hacienda. If you love steak, if you love seafood, if you love just delicious New Mexican-style food, this is it for you. Their menu is amazing. They also have a boutique hotel, and you can use the $50 towards a stay at the Hacienda de Mesilla. But it's one per person. We give you the opportunity to take advantage now while they last. $50 for dining deals for just $25. And those are available once again by going to 600ESPNElPaso.com, clicking the Dining Deals tab in the must-read bar, and you are off and running. 25 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. Oh, man, that movie discussion was kind of depressing. Somebody, Alberto doesn't like movies. Mike, you said, you're not that thrilled about it these days. You don't like going off. You doze off because
it's too comfy at the theater. It's really dark and the seat's so comfortable that it's like ready for me to go to sleep.
In your dream house, are you having a home theater?
Yes. But I was just telling Steve, I was like, when I I get out of this apartment, I get a good apartment, I'm going to get a home theater. Because it's also like a home theater is also good to watch sports in.
It is. But aren't you afraid that if you watch a movie in your home theater, you're going to fall asleep all the time, too? Because it's probably, you're going to want it dark. You're going to want to replicate the movie theater experience. And you're going to get a comfortable chair. Aren't you afraid it's going to probably put you to sleep?
I don't like it too dark in my house because I do get sleepy. I tend to get sleepy when it's dark. I like to have the overhead lights on. Because once it starts getting dark and I have the lights off and I start replicating the movie theater, start going to sleep.
You're done.
Yeah, so I can't do that. I don't like doing that.
Okay. Well, all I can tell you is this. I do not have a home theater in my house. However, I have an enormous wall in my living room. So I put a big television on the wall. I do have in that room 5 speakers all around the room and a giant woofer. So when that thing starts to crank, it's loud. It's really, really loud. So it's not necessarily a home theater. It's the living room, but the room is so big that we've made it to where you can really enjoy live sports, television shows, and movies at night. Or during the day,
as it should be. My situation, right? Like I'm still just watching stuff on my TV. I mean, on my laptop and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just go home and stream ESPN and then go to sleep. So it's like I'm not really looking for a home theater right now.
I know. Or a man cave or something.
I also don't
that.
have room for if I got a 65-inch TV, I don't it would be hard to place it in my house.
Okay, here's a better question for you right now. Okay, because televisions have become so cheap.
Yeah, they have.
What is what's the perfect size TV for a man cave or just a really nice entertainment room? Because you just dropped you threw a 65-inch television as your size, which probably now is the most common size TVs you're going to find. I'll give you an example, okay? My mom yesterday calls me and says, "Hey, Luz, I just bought a new TV. Can you help me set it up? And it's a smart TV. Can you connect it?" I'm like, "What'd you buy?" She goes, "I bought a 40-inch Vizio at Sam's Club." I'm like, "Okay, great. You have any idea how much a 40-inch television costs these days?"
$250.
Lower.
Nice. Good.
$150.
Good.
It's like, good night, man. A 40-inch television, smart TV, $150. That's how cheap these are. You go to the stores now, you will see 75 and 85-inch televisions for under $1,000. Pretty commonplace these days. It really is. So I'll ask you, all three of you, this. What is the perfect size TV for a game room, man cave / entertainment center? In your opinion, if you could put the perfect size TV, what is it?
To me personally, I'm going to be the anomaly. I would probably actually go projector.
I did that
because you can move it around. Like you can adjust the size. If you want it huge, you want it little, and you can do a lot more with it. You can take it outside.
That's true.
I had a projector in Houston, and it was so versatile and so cool that it's pretty much TV, and you can get really good ones. Just get a white sheet, and it's
so if you had a projector, what size did you want to project it to? 100?
It depends.
80? What do you want to do?
I would try to make it, if I had a full blank white wall, I try to make it wall to wall.
Okay, fair enough. Michael, what about you?
I'm going with a projector too. I've been wanting to get a man cave in the near future where I make it all Steelers, Pirates, and Penguins. That's something on my bucket list that I want to make happen. And if a projector in there, I'm not going to leave that man cave. I'm going to stay in there all day, 24/7.
Okay.
And I'd probably make it to 100 if I can. That's my end goal.
Fair enough. Adrian?
It's a good question, Steve. I think the best man cave I ever had was in college when I had this ridiculous room, and it had like this little living room kind of set up in it. It was kind of like what Alberto is describing in a studio. And when I had that, I had a perfect 50-inch TV. It wasn't too big, wasn't too small. So now, where my current setup is, I have my own quote-unquote man cave. It's really the dog's room, but because we have a bunch of unoccupied rooms in my house. One of them is my de facto man cave. I have a 55 in there, and it might be too big, That's just the bottom line. I think maybe if I mounted it on the wall, it'd be a little different story. But, yeah, I think it's a little too big. So 50, perfect size for me.
Got it. I'll tell you a quick story, then we're going to get to SportsCenter and get to the phones because Enrique is on the lines. Okay. That wall in my living room is so big that my 46-inch television 12 years ago looked like a 20-inch screen. It was a joke. It looked
The Office episode.
It looked like it looked like Michael's like Michael's television, and it just didn't belong. Right? It's his plasma TV when the Dundee was thrown by Jan right into the center of it. That's exactly right. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, next week, next Thursday, in fact. They're going to have it the Chihuahuas. This is also going to be very, very cool because it's going to be The Office's own Kate Flannery, who played Meredith Palmer. She's going to be coming into town a week from Thursday.
I love it.
Happy you brought up The Office reference. That was great. So I switched it out from a 46, and I bought a projector. Okay. And I tried to get to 100. I did. I tried. The problem with my projector was there were windows in the room. And even with room darkening curtains and trying to dark that place out, it was only good at night when the sun went down. It was not good during the day. And the reason I bought the projector was big TVs 10 or 12 years ago were too expensive. Like if you wanted a 70, 80-inch television, it was going to cost you an absolute fortune. So after one light bulb replacement, when the fan finally blew out and it was time to decide new projector or new television, the decision was easy. Back to the TVs. And now I've got one that's the perfect size. It works. Don't have to worry about the projector anymore. So my advice to the two of you, meaning you, Alberto, and you, Michael, is this. If you're going projector, make sure, under all circumstances, there are no windows in that room. Because if there are windows, it is not going to be nearly the experience that you want it to be. It's going to be too bright, and then you're going to have issues. So make sure it's in a room with no windows, and you'll be all set.
Yeah, it's definitely something to consider. And you know what? And you just reminded me of this. It reminded me of when I was younger. Remember when TVs were violently affected by sun glare? Like I remember when I'd wake up as a kid to watch Saturday cartoons, sometimes the glare was coming in so hard that it was just impossible to watch TV.
I'm old enough to remember that when I turned on my color television as a kid, it took about 30 to 45 seconds for it to warm up before the picture came in. Yeah, wow. Damn is right. Wow. That's exactly. Wow. That's how old I am. So yes, believe it or not, long before the TVs they make today, when you turned on a TV, by the time it actually was able to power up and everything gets into focus and proper clarity, it was about 30 to 45 seconds. It took a while. So yeah, long time ago. All right, 33 past. We'll get to Enrique right after Michael, who's back with this Sports Center update. When I was growing up as a kid, we had some black and white TVs in the house. They weren't all color. There was some black and white. In fact, I believe my first Sony Watchman, which was like a television version of the Walkman, was a black and white picture. It was not a color picture. It was black and white. So, yes. 80s, I believe. I think mid to late 80s is when you stopped seeing all the black and white TVs and you started seeing more and more color TVs. So, yeah, black and white was still a thing when I was growing up as a kid. All right, back in the caveman days. Let's get back to the phones right now, and let's go first to Enrique, who joins us on the lines. Enrique, thanks for the call. How are you?
Hey, good. I'm good, Cap. How about you guys?
Doing well, thanks.
So I've been meaning to bring this subject up. I just keep forgetting to because I've been so excited with college football. But
yes,
I've been seeing a rumor. You probably doesn't tell me it's fake news, which it probably is, but that the Cowboys might sell the team to Saudis. And I don't know. Like, I just wanted to ask you if that actually does happen. I know you're not a big Cowboy fan, but given the controversy that has followed Saudi Arabia, would it be un-American to keep following the Cowboys if, like, supporting a team that's owned by an organization that's, like, handles business very shady?
Now, first off, I've never heard this story, but I guess 2 weeks ago, Yahoo Sports had a story saying that there was no evidence suggesting that Jerry Jones was selling the Cowboys to the Saudis. Look, remember this, though, okay? Even if Jerry wanted to sell the team, the sale has to be voted on and approved by the rest of the owners around the NFL. So he could get all the money he wants. The NFL could say, nope, that's not going to happen, and they turn it down. So you have to approve the sale of the team by the league. So, but I seriously doubt Jerry Jones would ever sell the Cowboys to the Saudis or anybody. He's the kind of guy that's going to want to pass that down to the family and keep it in the family forever, I think.
I guess that's a good way to look at it. I didn't really know about the whole owners and having to approve the sale.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, listen, if he was going to sell them and wanted to make the most money possible, that would be the way to go. But I'm not. I wouldn't be holding my breath on that one, at least as of today.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Cap.
All right, you got it. And by the way, you guys have any idea how much the Dallas Cowboys are valued at right now? Just without looking. Any idea? No cheating.
I'm going to go with just $1 billion, just one at the dot.
It's a great guess. What about you?
I thought it was 5.
Okay, 5. Michael.
Michael just stepped out real quick.
Okay. According to Forbes magazine, the Cowboys are valued at $9 billion.
Wow.
$9 billion.
They got a big brand, man.
Yes, they do. My goodness gracious. That would be unbelievable.
Imagine if they won a Super Bowl.
Seriously, that's true. Imagine. It's long, it's like some other teams trying to win. Let's keep moving. 5 Points Guy joining us next on the show as Sports Talk continues. What's up, 5 Points Guy? How are you?
Doing good, Steve. How you doing?
Hey, doing well, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, earlier you guys were talking about projectors and how you own a projector, and it's crazy you bring that up because a lot of buddies of mine, they've been getting projectors, getting them on Amazon. They've been getting their inflatable screens and whatnot. But there's this one, a lot of devices have come out this last year, including the Apple glasses, and quite other devices. And, smart TVs are in. Now we have smart watches, smart TVs. But now the latest thing that I've been seeing is a smart projector. I know it sounds crazy. I think there's only 2 or 3 in the market, but the one that I discovered is made by Samsung.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, like I said, I did go into the projector market years ago, but for me, I didn't even mind replacing the bulb. That was fine. The problem was towards the end, after about 7 or 8 years, my projector started getting hot, and it would shut down automatically, and I'd have to wait for it to cool off because of the fan. And then eventually the fan blew out. And I just thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? Again, I think a projector is cool for a lot of reasons that everybody suggested, but unless you've got a room to put that in where there is absolutely no light coming in, I don't know, man. And you almost want to have a projector that has 2 fans built in just to keep it cool because of the amount of heat that thing generates.
Right. No, good point. I didn't even think of the heat that they do put off, but no, you are right. They do put off a good amount of heat. Let alone these newer ones that have a higher lumen or a higher candela, I guess what they call brightness.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, like I said, they're making these smart projectors now. I don't think they're taking off, but then I started seeing them at stores the other day. So, but for the most part, thanks again for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, Steve.
Hey, you got it, man. You looking forward to Alberto in about a week when he's spending the week on the queue?
I didn't know about that. Really?
Oh yeah, Alberto's a week from today. He's going to spend the whole week. Joanna's on vacation, and Alberto is going to be back in that role on the morning show.
He's going to kill it, man. I know he's going to kill it. He's a smart dude. Like I said, I'm looking forward to tuning into the show. When Buzz was off, I felt horrible because I thought they were just replaying like the best of bits or whatever, and I tuned into another radio show. But anyways, I'm just so sorry. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing Alberto. You guys have a great one, and like I said, thanks again for having me on the show, Steve.
Hey, good job, 5 Points guy. Appreciate it. Keep it up. You're also on the app. We love that as well. So keep listening, and good stuff. Appreciate you calling in. 41 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. Smart projectors. What's next, guys? What is next?
That's some good stuff, Steve. You know, when I was thinking of the projectors, we've got a projector at home myself, but man, it sounds so advanced right now. It feels like the projectors that you could buy are also cheaper now if you just want a basic one, but those are going to be the ones that crap out after a while, like we just talked about.
Yeah, exactly. And like we said, too, you can get base 65-inch televisions for under $500, so that's pretty commonplace these days. So they've definitely made TVs more affordable now than ever before.
Right, and people just also like to watch it on their phones, too, with all the YouTube that they watch or TikTok that people watch on their own phones. It's a little, it's easier for some people to just watch TV or movies on their phones.
Good point. All right, 18 in front of 6. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 2. El Paso Locomotive FC, they're 20 minutes away here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Sports Talk on behalf of everybody at 600 ESPN El Paso and Football Friday Night. Our thoughts and prayers are with Russ Bannister, who right now has been, let's just say this, he's having a tough time, but again, we're going to be praying for Russ. Hope he's able to pull through. And for somebody that has been such a huge part of Football Friday Night on this radio station for what's now 30-plus years or so, Russ is one of the best, most liked people you will find. He also has spent many years running the media area, hospitality area at UTEP. You would always see Russ when you were heading into the Haskins Center before basketball games. So, again, our thoughts are with Russ and his family right now. And just if you have a chance to say a prayer, everybody, tonight, say one for Russ Bannister.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Steve. Russ is somebody who cares so deeply about high school football, Football Friday Night, the show, and then us as reporters and fellow coworkers and stuff. So Russ was always the first to be willing to offer up his own volunteer efforts or his own reporting efforts, whatever we needed of him. He was always willing to help out. He was a great asset for us throughout Football Friday Night, and we're thinking of him throughout all that he's going through right now.
No, you're 100% correct. I know we talked about this earlier, but thoughts on Dana Dimmel getting a job as an offensive he's an offensive assistant coach out at the University of Illinois with the Fighting Illini. Listen, I did not expect this. When I had a chance to sit down with Coach Dimmel, he told me that he was expecting to stay in El Paso through the year, possibly wait for a position to open up, and then when it did, he would look to jump back into the game. But, hey, you get a chance to go to Champaign and be in the Big Ten with the University of Illinois and their program. That's a terrific get for the former Miner coach. I'm super happy for him and wish Dana Dimmel nothing but the best.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm really excited for this opportunity for him. I'll just say this. Off the field, Dana Dimmel could have been a more likable guy. Like, we got a chance to know him off the field. We got a chance to work with him in a professional setting for the past 6 years and 7 years. He is somebody, he's like the best of the best. Best guy you're going to meet, best interview that you're going to get. When things are good, when things are bad, he's going to always, give it to you in a positive manner. Also, I'll say this, Steve. I was like, what's the connection? Like, that was the biggest thing to me. I had heard rumblings about maybe a Power 4 addition here for Coach Dimmel. Yeah. I thought it was going to be next year. And I was thinking to myself, what is the connection? The interesting connection here, the fact that his former fullback, James Tupou, is on the coaching staff as well. I'm not saying James got him the job or anything like that, but there is a connection from his times here at UTEP going over to Illinois.
I'm with you on that one. I thought it was interesting to see Tupou on the staff for strength and conditioning, and now Dana Dimmel rejoins his former player at the University of Illinois. And by the way, mad props to Illinois' graphic department for airbrushing the UTEP out of his hat and his shirt and replacing it with the University of Illinois eye and the Illini on that shot. That is fantastic stuff. I mean, they've got him holding a play chart with the glasses and the headset. I mean, this is as good as it gets because you remember, last season they were Adidas. The year before they were Nike. That means this is either from 2022 or before because they've got the Nike swoosh on one side. They just completely airbrushed UTEP out, put Illini in, and they took his hat, which was probably the UTEP hat that also had the pick, and got rid of that and put the eye in there. So really well done by the graphic department at Illinois to completely erase any idea that Dana Dimmel spent time at UTEP.
Not to burst your bubble, Steve, which it's really funny you say that because I noticed this as well. This probably wasn't that hard. Like somebody from our team could have maybe done this. We could have maybe done a funny version where it's like poorly edited or poorly airbrushed or something that would have been even better. I'll just say the fact that the best part about the graphic work on this, he has a little crease on his shirt and they perfectly did the Illini within that crease. So that was it right there. I would say good job, good effort, and it wasn't that hard when the colors are identical.
No, it was probably the easiest thing they could have done. Oh, and by the way, at least they kept the Live Like Luke wristband that he was wearing.
Good touch. I like it. Yeah. And for Dana Dimmel, he's probably going to be installing offense or helping out install the offense. Remember, his roots are tight ends, offensive line, so maybe that's what Illinois needs help with, and running the football. That's what he's good at.
Let me say this for people that don't know. Dana Dimmel is one of the more respected offensive assistants you're going to find in college football. He is somebody that has a lot of connections through his years at K-State. And, to us, it was just a matter of time before he caught on again with another program. So being a senior offensive assistant right now with the Fighting Illini, not surprised at all.
No, not at all. And I'll also say this, most of his, speaking of connected, most of his coaching staff is at Texas State. I feel comfortable in saying that because it's actually the case. You now have Matt Wallerstedt, who is his associate coach on the defensive side. He's now at Charlotte, so he's joining that 49ers coaching staff. You had his other associate head coach in Barrick Neely join that Texas State squad, along with Bradley Dale Pivito, who's his defensive coordinator. So there are some of the staff additions across from the former staff across college football. And yeah, it seems like most of these guys have already found a job and they're already doing, just fine for themselves.
No, they are. All right, as we wrap up hour number 2, get ready. We said it earlier. El Paso Locomotive FC is here. They're inside the studios. They'll take over starting at 6 o'clock. We'll have our coverage and give you a little taste of what's to come. And Sports Talk continues right here, 600 ESPN El Paso.
in Broadus.
And welcome back, everybody. It is our third and final hour here on Sports Talk. As I mentioned, El Paso Locomotive FC, specifically their academy. That is our topic of discussion here to begin the hour with Ivan Militar as the academy director and Raul Chapo Vasquez, who is not only the captain of the academy under-20 team, but he's also he made his pro debut this past weekend, and they both join us here on the program. Chapo, welcome aboard. Thanks for stopping by. How are you so far?
Good. We're having a good day. Had an excellent week, and, well, glad to be here.
Good to have you here. I mean, this stuff is easy, right? Radio interviews, no big deal. It's not like it's anything that different than what you've done over the years, correct?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit new, but, I mean...
Well, you're telling me that when you were at Bel Air High, you never did a lot of these kind of interviews around campus? They never talked to you for the school paper and some of the other things out there?
Oh, yeah, but that's more...
That's the same thing. Adrian, right? We're no different than Bel Air. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, I shout out to their journalism program. We're just the same way. Just having a conversation here, having some fun.
That's all we're doing. That's exactly. But no, it's great to have you here, Chapo. We appreciate that. And I can't even imagine what your pro debut must have been like for you. I mean... You tell me, was there any nerves really going through for you for that match, or was it? Do you treat it just like another match? Once the lights go on, it's just business as usual?
Well, when you're about to go in, obviously you feel the nerves. You feel almost like life is flashing before your eyes, that you could say. For a soccer player, like you begin to think of everything you've done, and it's actually like coming true. So you do get a little bit nervous, but once you're in the field, everything clicks back on and you're ready to go.
So you tell me, did it take like a couple of seconds for you to get comfortable, or once you got there and the match started, that's when you realized, okay, we're just playing the game that I've been playing my whole life?
Yeah, well, normally soccer players, when they see someone coming in, especially if it's an academy player or someone young, they try to get them a first touch so they can start getting the confidence. And my partners, exactly what they did. They got me the first touch, and from there was go time.
I love it. When did you first start playing this sport? How old were you?
Wow, probably 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
I would say.
And the nickname Chapo, that was one that started at a very young age?
Yeah, when you start seeing the height gaps, that's when the nickname started. But yeah, around 7, 8 years old, that's when I started getting the nickname.
Did you play other sports as well, or did you always gravitate towards soccer?
No, I always gravitated towards soccer, but obviously I'm an athlete and I do like playing other sports, but naturally just playing soccer.
Okay, so when you weren't playing soccer, what were some of the other sports you enjoyed playing? Let me just hear.
I really like a lot of basketball. I like watching basketball. Yeah. And then my dad used to be in a baseball team, and I liked baseball as well. And yeah, those about it. But obviously, when they would play football in school, I would obviously go play and everything. Yeah.
And the academy is something that you've been doing now for the last 4 or 5 years. How has that been going? Not just with Ivan sitting here, so make sure you say good things, but also about just working your way up the ladder and just seeing what the academy has been like for you developing as a player.
Well, I got to the academy when it had barely started. Nothing really had been going on. So we did some tryouts for the teams, and then actually was put in my category. My year is 2005, and I was put in the 2005B. So then I stayed a whole year there, worked my way up, and then we did another tryout. But then I went to the 2004B. So we're still in the B category, if you would say, but. Then after that, I got jumped to the USA Academy, which is the reserve team of the first team. Mm-hmm. And I've been there ever since. And a couple of nights ago, I got to play with the first team professionally. And that's where we're at right now. I
can't even imagine what it must have been like for you when you got the call or got the word that you'd be on the roster and have an opportunity to play for Locomotive FC.
Yeah, well, obviously we were training. And, I would say 10 minutes after the practice ended, that's when Coach called me in, and that's where he told me the news.
How many family members and friends were at the match on Saturday?
My father and my mother and everybody back home was watching the TV.
There you go.
Chapo, did you have a day-to-day job? We hear all these stories about people who either come through the academy or just come on to the Locomotive FC. Did you have other obligations aside from just soccer? Were you able to lock in and just really gear up for what you're doing right now?
No, well, obviously, my father always the school always comes first. And apart from school, when school's not there, it's soccer. Thank God I haven't had any obligations that I had to help my family out, but yeah, just soccer.
Okay, so you said school. So you graduated Bel Air.
Yes.
Are you attending college yet?
Yes, I'm going to go to UTEP's orientation August 1st, and from there I'm going to start going to UTEP.
Terrific. So you're going to go to UTEP. You're going to moonlight with El Paso Locomotive FC while you're going to UTEP is what you're telling me, right?
Yes, my goal has always been to one-hand soccer, one-hand school, and take it from there.
Fantastic. Who on the club has really kind of helped you through this process as you've transitioned to the main roster? Were there some players that have really kind of taken you under their wing a little bit these last few days and just kind of told you that they've got your back?
Well, obviously I've always had my mentors, but Yuma, Morelli, you can say Calvillo, they've really helped me out. They've been there since when I started training with the first team. There was the ones that got me under their wing, and they've been taking great care of me. I really cherish them, and I really love those people.
How long have you been training with them, with this team?
With this team?
Yeah, with the main roster.
With the main roster, I've been training like 1 or 2 years with the first team, but actively again started training I would say 3 weeks ago.
When did you first start to realize that you could hang with these guys, that you belonged?
Well, that's a good question. Obviously, I've always believed in myself and have confidence, obviously, in my skill all the time. But once you start really feeling the confidence, and when you start getting the ball and you start not taking obviously the whole team, but you start doing 1 or 2 things that you're normally okay, I can do that. That's when you start getting the confidence, and from there, practically it's easy from there.
Raul Chapo Vasquez with us right here on Sports Talk as we continue. Did you get a chance to play all 4 years at Bel Air?
No, I only got to play there my freshman year. And obviously great experience and everything, but I only got to play my freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. I had to sit out, but yeah, just my freshman year.
And Ivan, this is an interesting point to bring up, as Ivan Militar is with us right now, who's the director of the academy. When players like Chapo are in the academy, does that mean that they are not able to play on their high school team because they're committed full-time for the development purposes of El Paso Locomotive FC's academy?
Well, this is a hot topic. I will tell you that.
It is a hot topic. That's why we asked. Exactly right.
Yeah. So basically what the truth is that our U20 academy team is fully funded, which means the kids don't pay. We pay for everything that they do, right? Their training, their travel, whatever you can imagine. And as a result, it's matched up with the first team. They train from January and they end in December, which means that, they go the whole year. The high school season in Texas doesn't match up with that well. January is the preseason of the first team. Chapo is able to make his debut just a little bit ago because the first team staff was seeing him in preseason, for example. That is in January. That's middle of high school season. So they wouldn't be able to do both. Otherwise, they would have to sacrifice the first team. And even more importantly, not just the first team preseason is there, but the most important showcases, for example, in Phoenix, where we go a lot, to be seen in front of college coaches happening in January, February, and March. And once again, that's the same time. This team, the U20 team, played in the Dallas Cup. Dallas Cup is one of the biggest youth soccer tournaments in the country. We went to the final. And that's a major recruiting opportunity. That's the end of March. That's
Makes
playoff
sense.
time for high school.
Yeah, it makes total sense. So, and ultimately, too, even though he's not getting paid to play as a professional, everything is covered. So all the things he needs to do are not coming out of pocket the way you sometimes have to do playing club soccer and in other places when you have to travel to try to get noticed by scouts.
Right, and at the end of the day, our philosophy and our mentality is that it's the parents' choice. We're not making nobody playing in the U20 team or not playing high school. It's not mandatory. It's not forbidden. What it is, it's your choice. If you want to be on the U20 team, which is only one team in the entire city and only 20 kids, and even out of that 20, 25 kids, only half of them in high school. Some of them are studying at home. So we're not making them. They decide. If they don't want to do this, that's fine. They can play high school. And the rest of the academy is able to play high school. So it's only this team that is not allowed.
Is it safe to say that the U20 academy is kind of like the scout team for El Paso Locomotive FC? The way you would sometimes have, let's say, a college football team play and you've got the starters, the backups, and then the scout team who kind of replicates what they're going to see every week. Is that kind of the purpose of the U20 team when they work out with the A team, is to kind of give them that feel so they can go against them, play against them, get better, but also give them the opportunity to kind of know what their opponents will do and develop that way?
Great topic. And yes and no. 50% you're right, 50% not so much. It depends on the head coach. When I got here, the head coach was John Hutchinson. I don't know who's remembering. In the city, I'm going to be honest to you, I see not great reputation of John with his time here. However, he was the most wonderful human being that coached here since my time. I like the other coaches too, but John was special. John was special because he cared about the academy in a certain level that others wouldn't. John had 10, 15 kids in the academy training all the time. So they... When it was John Hutchinson here, who's, by the way, I want to congratulate because he had his first win as a head coach in Japanese First Division just a couple of days ago. But
very nice.
Yeah, he's doing great. But when he was here, yes, what you said was right. With Brian Clairhout, who is also a great human being, and I really appreciated him. He didn't use the academy in the same way as John did. Which means that barely had any academy players in the training sessions because that's not what he preferred as a coach, and that's respect to the head coach. It's all about the results. Whatever takes for you to get it, you have to do it. He supported the academy, but in different ways. And now with Wilmer, he's again having a different kind of twist. He's starting to use the academy players even more. And what makes Chapo's story really special and my role, really rewarding is that when Chapo goes into a training session, the feedback is that, he belongs. And that really makes your point about, hey, being a scout team and everything else is a little bit stronger. Hey, use these boys. There's a lot of talent here.
I'm curious, Chapo, since you started back when Mark Lowry was the head coach and technical director of the club when you started in the academy, was Mark, which side did he take? Did he have the side where Hutch was using the players from the academy to work out, or was he more like Brian from your recollection?
Well, I didn't get a chance to even train with the first team when Mark was here, but from the experiences of older players that I've talked to, actually, 3 players from the academy actually got to train when Mark was here. And then when John Hutchinson was here, obviously,
it
great
exploded.
coach. Yeah, it exploded.
It's so interesting you bring that up, Ivan. It really is, because to me, that tells me that you never really know for sure how this is going to work, and every coach is different. Some coaches might prefer to have the academy for those reasons you talked about, and others might just decide, no, you know what, we want to go against each other and not worry about an extra players. So it's true, probably personal preference on everybody you work with, which for you has to be difficult because you got to be able to adjust on the fly because you know that one day might be one thing and another day could be something different.
Well, yeah, that's why you have to invite me every week so I can talk about the
Fair
academy.
Enough. Fair enough. Because you need more time. I like it.
Because to be honest, this is why these stories are so important, right? This is why these kind of conversations for us is so exciting. Yeah. Because we can say, and as you said, coaches come and coaches go, but we can say that the academy is here to stay. The academy is producing players. We are talking about Chapo now, but Emiliano Rodriguez started in this game, who just signed his professional contract straight from the academy a couple weeks ago. So we had 2 things going on, and we had another player, Finley O'Brien, on the bench who didn't get in, but was there, another academy player. So I think it's just important to talk about more and more that, hey, the youth of El Paso and the potential that is here in this area, the Border Plex area, it's real, and it doesn't matter who's coming and who's going. We're going to stay here, and we're going to produce players like Chapo.
I'll tell you what else. Academies, to me, I believe in the academy, whether it's here in El Paso or anywhere, because they found Diego Luna at an academy in Casa Grande, Arizona, and he just made the MLS All-Star team this year. So I look at just academy players in general, and he signed here when he was 16 years old, which tells me that if you're talented, doesn't matter where you are, whether you're here locally or you're someplace else, you bring them on board, and chances are you could strike gold the way they did.
Funny, we still remembering Diego. Of course we do.
Can't forget Diego with that style of play.
I was his coach at Barca before he joined.
Were you really?
So yeah.
Okay.
I'll never forget. We were coaching him on a Tuesday, training session happening on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, he calls, Coach, I think I'm signing with El Paso. And on Thursday, he was signed, and then 2 weeks later, we actually played a preseason game here against the Locomotive with our Barca U19 team that Diego was playing on. And now he was playing for the Locomotive, scored a goal in the preseason game against his old teammates. But yeah, we know Luna really well. Dieguito is an unbelievable player, unbelievable person. And you are right. Even though he was not an academy player of El Paso, he's a Mexican-American boy that showed that, hey, you can put somebody in that young.
We got a lot more to talk about. If you want to get into the program, 505-6009. We continue right now with Chapo and Ivan from El Paso Locomotive FC and their academy. But first, let's go to Charlie 1 and get this traffic update. Oh, having a great conversation right now with Chapo, who is one of our guests today. In fact, Raul Chapo Vasquez, he's an 18-year-old phenom who just got his first taste of soccer at the professional level as he's the captain of the 20 and under academy here for El Paso Locomotive FC. Plus, we have Ivan Militar with us right now, who is the man that runs the show, head of the academy. And I'm hearing this is kind of an interesting topic we talk about. It really is, because I look at some of the best players that have ever come out of El Paso. Let's take Ricardo Pepi, for example. We'll start with Ricardo, okay? Ricardo Pepi was a phenom. At the age of 13, he moves out to Dallas and joins their academy. Makes his pro debut at 16. By 18, he's already playing on the U.S. national team, all right? But he could have stayed in town, could have played high school soccer, could have played club soccer. He decided to better his talents in Dallas. There wasn't an academy here when he was 13 years old being scouted by all these teams. Now there is. And I guess the advantage is that the next Chapo or the next Ricardo Pepi, the next young phenom, can stay here and develop his skills at the El Paso Academy rather than have to try to leave town to perhaps put themselves on the MLS map.
Yeah, let me say this.
There you go.
Let me tell you this. I have a lot of respect to high school and the high school system here in El Paso and the soccer teams. And I'll tell you why. Historically speaking, and this is what I learned, I've been here for 2.5 years, and this is what I learned by talking to people. Historically speaking, in this area, because of the lower socioeconomic status, and which is, by the way, changing rapidly based on my experience, but back in the day, people didn't have money to travel, and of course we are segregated geographically entirely. Phoenix 6 hours away, Dallas 9. I don't have to tell the people of El Paso how segregated we are.
Sure.
So back in the day when there was no other way out, financially, not people cannot afford it, or the competition wasn't as established. Like right now, the youth soccer world is so established that there's a tournament everywhere. The only thing that gave you a field, a coach, a set of balls, and a jersey, all for free, was high school. So there's a reality in this, and I have to accept that high school was king here. And I say was is because that was until 2010 maybe, or 2005, that was the truth. But because Phoenix moved on, Dallas moved on. So for example, in Dallas, there's no academy players, there's no MLS academy players, there's no FC Dallas player that is playing high school ball. El Paso is different, and we came in 4 years ago, and 3 years ago, we started the U20 program, and we said, hey, it doesn't match up with our schedule. And because of that, those players are advised not to play. They can continue playing high school, but then they're not going to play on the U20s, or if they play the U20s, but they are not going to play high school. And that was a big uproar, and it's still an uproar. And I understand that from a high school coaching standpoint. At the end of the day, we are looking out what's best for the players. We believe that we are able to provide something that is special, that is more than what they can get anywhere else in El Paso. And that's why this story with Chapo is so important, or Emiliano. Again, Emiliano played. He was Hank's high school player. Nobody would know his name if he doesn't come to El Paso Locomotive. And as a result, we are proud of this. We are not against high school. We are pro Locomotive, and we are pro U20, and we believe in our program. But I understand why and how that happened around high school soccer.
It's another option is the best way to put it. It's simply what it is. It's another option. It doesn't sound like you're pressuring kids, come here or else. They have a choice. They can either play high school. Of course they do. They can play high school soccer and try to win state championships, or they can come and develop with you and go there. I mean, you would think about this, though. If you want to eventually play professional soccer and play for Locomotive FC or someplace else, it would make sense to come up through the academy, because that would definitely better your chances. How many high school players who will finish their eligibility at the age of 17 or 18, then try to go to the academy and continue continue their soccer career?
We have some, and we had some players that joined. We call it late, because even though it's called a U20 team, it is not really a U20 team. Chapo is not going to be a U20 until next year. So we are a younger team, really.
Yeah.
We have some that join later, but we have a full academy, not just the U20s. We have a full academy starting all the way from U13 all the way to U19, and we have other teams that are starting from 3-year-old. So we have a large base. We have over 700 kids in the program, so we have a large base to pick from. And so we are trying to get it from in-house. But if somebody coming from high school and trying to join after they finish their eligibility, it's almost too late. We experienced that it's almost too late. High school soccer is a different style of soccer than what we kind of do in those leagues, and so the transition is not so easy. However, just to your point, and shout out to San Elizario, a high school team that won the state championship, right? Goal scorer in the final is Pancho, right? Francisco Marquez, who was Chapo's teammate not so long ago. He decided that he was a very young player, and he didn't play as much for us and didn't get as many minutes as he wanted, and he decided that he's going to go back to high school, and look at him, state champion. So, and we are proud of him, and we are proud from San Eli and the community of that area, and it's just life. It's totally fine.
So that brings us to our next point, Ivan, and that is there's 20 spots on this under-20 team, correct?
25, yes.
25, okay. There is a ton of talent in this community. So even though you might have 25 of the best players from a certain age group, chances are there's a ton of them that could still have the opportunity to win state titles like we've seen over the years here in El Paso.
100%. All the other academy teams are allowed to play high school. And out of these 25 kids, some of them are, just because you said they already done their eligibility, some of them are not high school eligible. Yeah. Some of them never seen a high school campus because we have a player who is the youngest on the team but already a starter. You're going to hear that name, Kenneth Hoban. Kenny has been a homeschooled kid because of that. He went online because of that. Because in the mornings by the way, we didn't talk about this aspect, but the U20 team trains in the morning next to the first team. So Chapo can go and train with the first team when the first team calls up him. So as a result, we need to change the school schedule as well. So it's a very complicated process. Yeah. I need to have partners. I need to have supportive people around this program in order to make it work. And we need parents and kids like Chapo who will, despite getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting to training session, still get a 4.0 GPA at the end of the year. And that's what Chapo proves. We can do that. We barely have professional players, right? We say it, out of 101 kid going to make it pro. But the rest, we need to create opportunities for college recruitment. Not so far away, in the end of July, early August, we're going to have a press conference. We have 7 kids going to commit to college. They already committed. They are going to go to college. So one end, yes, the professional route is important for all the sacrifices that they make, but the other route is the college commitment.
Yeah, exactly right. As long as you can try to place your players in one of those two avenues, whether it's professional or college, you've done your job. That's exactly what you're trying to do. And for those that play and don't have the opportunity to play college ball or play pro ball, hey, they have the experience of knowing that they got to come up through the Locomotive Academy.
Right, and hopefully they're going to be the ambassadors for us in our community. We have already some kids that are coaching already in our club. It's a wonderful thing. Chapo is a great coach, by the way. So I'm hoping that he doesn't forget us just because he's now a big timer. But his type is our type. Special character, a leader on the team. He sacrificed a whole lot. He's a voice in the community. Everybody knows Chapo. He's loud, but loud not in a bad way, in a very positive way about, hey, look at me. This is how an El Paso Locomotive FC Academy player looks like. Yeah. We are really proud of him. Special character. This is a special story.
All right, more as we continue here on Sports Talk, but first let's go to Michael and get one last bottom of the hour Sports Center update. It's head and shoulders better than anything else we have.
Yeah, and I think it's the accessibility that the sport offers and the way that we're able to now, since we're having a professional setting, thanks to the Locomotive FC, we're able to accelerate some of the development thanks to all the resources that these coaches and all the staff members are willing to offer. But the desire's there. And people actually, they care more than ever about this sport here, especially in, on a border town like El Paso, and one that where we have such a binational culture here in El Paso. So I think that's such a great thing for everybody in this sport and who wants to play this sport here in the future.
Yeah, and I want to add, I think he's going to be happy to hear that because he's a friend of mine. Chapo's father is a longtime coach in this area. So there needs to be a word said about other people in this community, not just Locomotive, that they are doing the good work, and with limited resources, and the fields are the fields and whatever. But there are people in this town, and again, Chapo's dad, who's also Raul Vasquez. Shout out to Raul. He's doing a great job, amongst others, to create talent and create an environment where Chapo can come in, develop, and then hopefully we can finish the job or continue what they are started.
How many more fields do we need in this town to cover the amount of talent we have?
You love the hot topics.
Well, because if you listen to this show, you hear me talk about
This
fields
is right up our alley.
and courts in this city all the time. Because there's not enough basketball courts and volleyball courts. There's definitely not enough baseball fields in this town and softball fields. And you can probably add soccer to that mix as well.
And if you are talking about it, add the word lit to it, because that's the other part. There are parks and there are fields, but lit, which means that after September, there's nowhere to train. I mean, I have to do the most creative jobs in order to find and create relationships and do the things that other players don't have to do just to get on the field or parts of the field to train. I don't know who's listening, but El Paso is very tough position when it comes to lit, quality, and safe fields in the city.
Okay. There it is. And by the way, how many coaches do we have for all the for the 7 teams that we're talking about earlier? How many people right now are in that program as head coaches and assistant coaches?
We have a larger growing staff. I think we are above 10 now, with everything 12. We even have a sports psychologist part-time. All these people are part-time, by the way. But we have coaches and head coaches that are really putting in teachers, for example, putting in an effort after work to come and help the youth and the youth community. But overall, in the whole entire club, I think we are inching towards 45 altogether. If
people listening to this show want to get involved and they feel like maybe they have someone that hasn't yet had the opportunity but would love the opportunity, what's their bet? How do they get in touch? How do they get involved?
We used to have 2 different websites. So the youth soccer department had a separate website, but now it's on one. So if you want to go to eplocomotivefc.com is our website, and on that website there's a tab, youth soccer tab, and you can find all the information there. We just had our tryouts not so long ago, but we always take later developers, and also people for very young, so 3-4-year-olds. It's called Little Locos. I encourage everybody to do that.
Last question. Is Chapo going to become a household name in this town when he starts getting more and more game action? People realize what he's capable of?
Well, based on his character and his mentality, I have very little doubt that he's definitely going to make it.
All right. Chapo, you agree with that?
Well, it's all in God's hands, but...
There you go. Well, it's in your feet, man.
Well,
it's in your feet. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
What, if fans have never had a chance to watch you on the pitch, what can they expect when they see you out there?
Just almost anything, just blood, anything that would characterize a
blood
character.
Is first.
But I like blood is nice. That reminds me of Yuma. That's good. That's the way it should be. He's one of your idols. That's perfect. That tells me if you play like that, you got a mean streak on you. I like that.
Yeah, that's exactly, just attitude. Attitude's number one all the time. And with a good attitude, it gets contagious, and everybody gets going from there.
Chapo's a winner.
I like that. Gentlemen, great to have you on the show. Thanks both for being here. And come back and see us again. Ivan, you said you want to come on the show and talk more about the academy?
Anytime.
We'll have you. That'll be great. So looking forward to that.
Thank you.
All right. So we continue here on Sports Talk. We'll wrap things up. Final countdown next.